God bless, fam. Once again, this is Quab Gives. Welcome back to the channel. So this is my testimony on how I came to know Jesus Christ. All right, fam. So personally, I've been trying to avoid this topic like the plague, family. I've had it in the back of my mind, but I'm like, you know what? I don't really want people to know what I've been through. It's kind of personal, right? But I understand if it's for the sake of edifying another person and to help someone grow closer to Christ, then it is, it has to be done. So I woke up this morning and I'm like, you know what? Let me speak on this today, all right? So for me, I had a great upbringing with my family. I grew up around a lot of my friends, family, grew up in a family home with my cousins. So we were always very united, you see? And I'm very grateful for that. I can't look back and say that, I didn't have anyone to reach out to or to be with, because they were always around. Always someone to have fun with, go to the park and play with. That was always there. So I'm very grateful for that. You see, and I grew up in the church as well. Always went to church with my family. I didn't really, at that age, you don't really know the bigger meaning of why you go to church and seek out God, but you understand that you go there because that's just what we do, right? And for me, there were some open doors that I know now should have never been open as a child, such as, I tried drinking alcohol at the age of 6. I was introduced to that. I tried smoking a cigar when I'm, at the age of like 5, just like you just see people doing things and you're just like, oh, I want to try that too. And another thing is I was molested when I was about 5 years old as well. So I know that was a big open door. I believe the spirit of Jezebel came in at that time, and probably a few other spirits too. And so from as early as I can remember, I used to have sleep paralysis when I was a young child. Around the age of 5, when all this kind of started to happen, is when I started to have sleep paralysis, and it was consistent. Nightmares consistent. Every night you would go to bed, you would be terrorized by whatever demon is trying to get access to you. But of course I didn't know. I just was afraid. I didn't really know what was going on. I was afraid to go to sleep. I couldn't really express what I was going through. So you kind of just deal with it, and you just kind of accept that there are dark forces in this world and they're out to get you. But as you grow older, you kind of realize now, it's like, okay, no, there's something really going on here that I need to get a handle on, right? And so, you grow up, go to school, finish school, go to high school, start college, did all those things, right? And I began to have a lot of lawless behaviors, right? Like I used to drink excessively, uncontrollably. I used to drink and drive uncontrollably. Actually, at the age of 16, 17, 16, I had my own car. 17, I had my own car too, and I got an upgrade, But at that point, because I had so much freedom, I lacked self-control and the discipline. So I was just a party animal at that time. Just going partying, throwing parties, drinking, smoking every day, selling drugs, selling whatever you can basically get your hands on to make some money. Right? And obviously this just leads to more spiritual defilement and sin, right? And it got to the point where I was so deep into it that I actually remember hooking up with this one person. Obviously she was a woman. I don't go both ways just for the sake of the video. But I ended up hooking up with this woman, and I remember my soul leaving my body. And it was from that point on where I realized everything just went downhill from that point. I had opened so many doors prior to that, but that was like the final straw in me now having to change the direction of my life, because there was no, if it wasn't for the sake of Jesus Christ, there would be no recovery from that. You see what I'm saying? And that's why, I'm grateful to be on this channel expressing what I've been going through to you guys, right? Because I realize it's very important to understand the importance of sexual purity, family. Living a lifestyle that God is pleased with, right? Because I didn't know at the time, I was a victim. I'm not even gonna say a victim. I'm gonna take accountability. I was subject to the dark forces that got access to me through the doors that I had opened, right? I was the one who caused this in my life, so I had to clean it up. You see what I mean? And so over the last 10 years of my life, God has kept me on a sexual purity journey. In fact, I have, at this point, I just turned 30 a couple months ago in April, but I have been sex free for the last 10 years. I haven't touched a woman, I haven't kissed a woman, nothing, none of that. Because God has really placed a mantle on my life, which it took me a while to realize this, but He showed me that, you know, I have something very important on my life that I have to preserve and cherish, right? And in order for me to do what He has called for me to do, I have to be sexually pure. And so this is why it's so important for me to express the importance of sexual purity, family. That's why you see a lot of my videos on my channel is always like semen retention, abstaining from sexual immorality, telling people, hey, you got to get away from this lifestyle, because what doors you're opening, you may not be able to close that, and you don't want to die in those sins. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to be worth it. For those 5 minutes of pleasure, it's not going to be worth it. All right, so, you know, in a nutshell, these are a lot of the things that I had gone through as a young man growing up. And, you know, I'm grateful to be where I'm at now, because not only am I, you know, free of this lust in the sense where I'm not going to bed every night daydreaming of, oh my gosh, like, am I going to find a woman? Oh my gosh, when am I going to have sex? Oh my gosh, when am I going to get married? Because God has changed my heart to be focused on Him. And that took some time, family, you see, because as men, we all desire a woman. We all desire a helpmeet, someone to be there for us, someone to squeeze up beside, you know what I'm saying? But of course, if you are not whole yourself, how can you fully be good for someone else? You know, you got to be good within yourself. You got to deal with your own demons, your own spirits, your own trauma. You got to deal with all this. And there's certain things that, you know, I realized even after baptism, there were demons that began to manifest that I didn't even know about. You see, like, one thing I started to notice is after I got baptized, this is when all of these sex demons started to try and torment me. I never had an issue with sex dreams prior to baptism, you see, but I realized that there were, let's just say, it's almost like time-released demons. They are dormant, and so you may think you don't have an issue in this area until they begin to manifest in your life, and you're just like, yo, where did this come from? How did this get here? But no, they were there the whole time. But the more you try to grow spiritually, if you don't fully submit to the will of God, it's going to be very hard to overcome these things. And the devil, he's sneaky. He's not going to tell you that he's there and present. And so you're going to be looking in the wrong direction while he sneaks up behind you and try to take you out. And this is why being sober-minded is so important as well. You see, on this journey, not only has God kept me sexually pure, but He stripped me from, you know, smoking addiction. I used to smoke 6-7 times a day. You know, sometimes cigarettes, cigars, mostly weed. You know, not only, like I said, I was selling pounds and pounds of weed, but smoking weed, bongs, cigars, you know, blunts, whatever you want to call it, toupee, whatever you want to call it. Anything to do with weed, I was the weed guy, you know. And He stripped me from that. He stripped me from alcohol. And He also stripped me from the sex addiction. And on top of that, God has got me into fasting as well, which is truly the next level. You know, when you can, you know, strip yourself, or not strip yourself, but allow God to strip you of these things. And then on top of that, you go deeper and you begin to fast now and pray more and pray in the Spirit, and you are really communicating with God on a daily basis. That's your only focus, family. I'm telling you, there are certain things that you'll begin to notice in your life that the devil is angry now. You see, he's angry because he tried to grab a hold of me when I was younger. And of course, I'm not going to say he stopped trying, but as we grow stronger, we can overcome certain battles that we as a younger person couldn't deal with. You see, I can overcome certain things now that when I was younger, I couldn't deal with. I'm wiser now. I'm more patient now. I'm more forgiving now. I have better understanding of myself and of God and the people around me now. So for me, God has kept me isolated for many years. And it's so that He can be the main voice in my life. It's so that He could be the one giving me instructions, giving me counsel, giving me the comfort, you know, that I can rely on Him, even though There's been so many seasons of doubt and fear and shame and regret and, you know, poverty. There's seasons where you're just like, how am I going to survive, you know? Yes, there comes times where I felt like I was ready to die, like I've accepted that, you know, but God had delivered me from so much, and he just allowed me to get stronger. You know, when I thought I was, you know, just about to throw in the towel, he just gave me strength out of nowhere. And so, you know, in a nutshell, this is pretty much my testimony on how I went from, you know, going through all this perversion, you know, alcohol abuse, smoking addiction, and just living an ungodly lifestyle to being sexually pure for over the last 10 years, right? And so for me, that is a blessing. I thought it would be something I think you guys would be interested in, because I know a lot of men and women do struggle with sexual immorality. And I'm here to tell you that you can overcome it. You know, God will give you that strength. God can definitely deliver you. He did it for me, and I know he can do it for you. All right, fam. So that's pretty much all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it made sense. And yeah, fam, if you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section. Please leave a like, share, and subscribe, family. And yes, I will see you in the next video. God bless you all.